Last night was Gilbert's council meeting. Gilbert subcommittee on teen violence gave their final recommendations. They had spent these months doing a lot of research, a lot of listening, making a lot of contact with schools in the community and talking to teens, and they were ready to make recommendations. Most of those recommendations they wanted to turn over to the community task force, which would now focus on teen violence. The most interesting thing to me was that Kathy Tilkey, who was disqualified from the subcommittee, she was excluded from it or not on it, had gotten the recommendations the day before, and she went ahead and made moves. She said, listen, I like these recommendations, I like what I'm seeing, but many of these shouldn't be handed off to the task force. They are items we can move forward on right now. And she really took leadership on that particular issue. And she said, hey, you're recommending that we look at certain ordinances. Those ordinances are brass knuckles ban and possibly a parental responsibility ordinance. We don't want to turn that over to the task force. We're going to have our town start working on what that might look like, what that language might look like. A parental responsibility ordinance would be very, very interesting. They also were directing funding. She said that doesn't need to go to the task force. We're going to direct our town manager to put these in the budget or make these recommendations in the budget. There was discussion about putting together a community task force and starting over really, and having that community task force solely focus on teen violence and having at least 4 members be teens. So then we heard comments from Jim Torgerson that were really, really positive towards the community. Also, the general demeanor and respect between council was much higher than we've seen it in the past. They were very professional last night. Chuck Bongiovanni even kind of came to the mayor's defense because she made a comment a couple weeks ago about Jim putting on his big girl panties. And Jim explained, it wasn't Chuck, Jim explained that that was really an inside joke, and so people really shouldn't come down on the mayor. It was really nice to see them all treat each other so professionally. It was really great to hear Jim comment and compliment the community for stepping up and investing time and investing resources in caring and creating relationships, because so much leadership like Rachel Mitchell and police chiefs and the mayor have really wanted the community to just shut up and go away and stop being so critical. It was great to hear Jim really compliment the community and ask them to keep showing up. Speaking of the police chief, he gave an update, not much to update. There was a citizen who talked about the ongoing problems with the Gilbert parking garage. Last weekend, there was a teen walking on the roof, and that was caught not on Gilbert police or Gilbert parking garage cameras, but on a citizen's camera. Then there was also a call that came from GPD not that long ago looking for 2 teens who 14 months ago had dropped a fire extinguisher off the top of the parking garage roof. And I just saw today that those 2 teens were identified by Gilbert PD and arrested, but I don't understand why that took 14 months. Apparently, there was also enough teens to look like a frat party at Gilbert parking garage last weekend. So Gilbert PD does not seem to have made any changes in the way that they're patrolling, which makes sense. When you don't take any accountability and think that anything is wrong, then why would you make any changes? So the public continues to kind of keep the heat on that particular issue.